Blake Synder calls it the story's first big whammy.
Oh, have I got your attention now?
David Mamet calls this a participating event. I prefer calling this important movie moment by the popular term, an inciting incident.
Came here to fire you, Jerry.
Now you may be wondering, what's an inciting incident, or does every movie need one? Let's find out. Have you ever been watching a movie and wondered, what is this movie even about? That's probably because either the inciting incident hasn't happened yet, or it doesn't have one. Screenwriter Aaron Sorkin says that he needs an intention before he starts writing a screenplay. The moment the main character has an intention, the moment they want something, that they have a goal, is linked to one of the most important aspects of your story. Writers have all kinds of different ways of getting into a story. Stephen King says he looks for a situation. Rod Serling started with a theme, others from a memory, a character, or just a line of dialogue. But the story doesn't really kick in until you have an inciting incident. Some refer to it as a hook, the catalyst, the trigger, or an exciting incident.
I volunteer as tribute.
It's what sets your story in motion. It gives your story a track to run on. No one watching Jaws leans over to their date and says, "Do you know what this movie's about?" And since movies are about change, think of the inciting incident as a game changer, a really big game changer. When the inciting incident happens in the form of an event or a situation, it disrupts the life of your protagonist. It upsets their equilibrium. So they set out on some kind of quest to correct the situation, to fix the problem. And the clearer the inciting incident, the more accessible your script is to readers and to movie audiences. Oscar-winning screenwriter Michael Arndt said that when he hit a roadblock in writing Toy Story 3, he revisited the original Toy Story movie to see what the inciting incident was, and he found out it's when Woody gets replaced by Buzz Lightyear. So for Toy Story 3, Arndt came up with the idea that Woody and the other toys' biggest fear was that Andy, now grown and heading off to college, that he would simply throw the toys away.
I'm not worried. You shouldn't be worried.
Of course Woody ain't worried. He's been Andy's favorite since kindergarten.
Then he reverse engineered the story for that very thing to happen.
Andy!
Andy's mother mistakes the bag that's supposed to go to the attic with the bag that's supposed to be taken to the trash. That moment is the inciting incident. Most of the time, inciting incidents are easy to spot.
Houston, we have a problem.
They create a domino story effect. Here's a quick trip of inciting incidents through global film history. And feel free to disagree. A teenager finds out she's pregnant. A man finds out he has cancer. A woman gets eaten by a shark. A space alien misses his ride and gets abandoned on Earth. An astronaut misses his ride and gets abandoned on Mars. Tom Cruise gets hired. Tom Cruise gets fired. A woman takes a challenging job or assignment. Charlie Kane dies. Shrek's quiet swamp is invaded by fairy tale creatures. Ferris skips school. A drummer starts to lose his hearing. A special bike is stolen. An ordinary bike is stolen. A large family goes on vacation, leaving a child behind. You get the point. Most of the time, the inciting incident happens in the first act, often in the first 10-15 pages. It can happen in the first scene like Juno, or just past the 30-minute mark like Rocky, when the champ Apollo Creed chooses to fight the Italian stallion.
Exactly what are you looking for, Apollo?
This is what I'm looking for. The Italian stallion.
Rocky Balboa? Never heard of him.
Look, it's the name, man. The Italian stallion. The media will eat it up.
As author Steve Pressfield says, until the inciting incident happens, everything is a setup. Sylvester Stallone spent the first act of his Rocky script making us care about a down-and-out boxer and on the subplot of his budding romantic relationship with Adrian. Basically, you want to place the inciting incident where it will have the most impact.
You've got one of the worst reputations in this town, Michael. Nobody will hire you.
Are you saying that nobody in New York will work with me?
And there are other nuances to inciting incidents, often an A to B aspect. After his agent's revelation, Dustin becomes Dorothy in order to get work as an actor. Think of it as the inciting incident's own setup and payoff, much like a game of pool where a player hits a cue ball which then scatters the other balls. Action and reaction. If Sheriff Brody doesn't find the young lady's body in Jaws, the shark attack could just go down as a late-night swimming accident. E.T. has to meet Elliot, and Rocky has to accept the fight with Apollo Creed.
My proposition's this. Would you be interested in fighting Apollo Creed for the World Heavyweight Championship?
The inciting incident changes the trajectory of life for the characters. It can be big or small, but it sets a story in motion.
Well, well, if it isn't McGuff the crime dog. Back for another test?
I think the first one was defective. The plus sign looks more like a division symbol, so I remain unconvinced.
Third test today, Mama Bear. Your ego is prego.
I should add that not all movies have a clear-cut inciting incident moment because not all movies are traditional archetypal stories. You have stories that are more character-driven, mini-plot stories, anti-plot stories, and experimental films. But the majority of movies follow this straightforward narrative storytelling. Certainly, it's very common in Hollywood storytelling, and I would even argue that the best independent films, the one that works the best, follow a very clear-cut inciting incident. It certainly worked for Diablo Cody.
And the Oscar goes to Diablo Cody.
The bigger the budget, the bigger the inciting incident tends to be. A plane crash, a kidnapping, a murder, a divorce, a financial hardship, a natural disaster, an illness, etc. But something as simple as an oven breaking in pieces of April can be an effective inciting incident. Let me end with an insight from Aaron Sorkin. He says the most important part of any screenplay, especially for new writers, is the first 10 pages. That's where you're trying to grab the reader's attention for the first time. So consider putting the inciting incident in those first 10 pages. And to show what a time-honored tradition inciting incidents are throughout film history, the inciting incident in the classic 1946 film It's a Wonderful Life comes at the 6.5-minute point after George Bailey's father dies, forcing George to forego his dream of finally going to college in order to run his father's business.
I'm leaving right now. I'm going to school. This is my last chance. Uncle Billy here, he's your man.
But George, they'll vote with Potter otherwise.
And more recently, the inciting incident of twin brothers buying an old sawmill in Ryan Coogler's Oscar-winning screenplay Sinners occurs on page 8 of the script and at the 7.5-minute mark of the movie.
We'll take it.
And it's effective and common to bookend your inciting incident with the climax of your story. We'll look at climaxes and endings in another video, but when you think of Juno, Sound of Metal, Rocky, all of them have endings that are directly connected to the inciting incident. Let me know if that's true of your favorite movies. And lastly, the inciting incident is often tied into the story's major dramatic question. Check out this video to learn more about that. And while you're at it, check out my book, Screenwriting with Brass Knuckles, on Amazon.